So when this organizers reached out to me and they basically told me about the theme Mirror Mirror, the first thing that came to my mind in terms of what should I talk about? Should I talk about my learnings? Should I talk about what do I see when I face mirror? Uh, and then suddenly I thought that unstop from day one of when I thought I'll do something big was not on my mind. So there is a journey that I've come to where I am today, right? And I believe that journey for me started during my school days. So what I'm going to do today is I'll pick school days, college engineering, then MBA, then my first job, and then where I am today. Traversing the whole journey in terms of certain stories that I think I learned. Then I did that learning exercise. Then I implemented few things because for me, where I stand today, my journey has been a discovery-led journey completely, right? Uh, and many people ask me in terms of how do we get that entrepreneurial spirit or entrepreneurial mindset, correct? And I think it starts right during the school days, and that's where when I was thinking through in terms of what I should be talking about, I want to first start with possibly now when I think through the first glimpse of starting something of my own or understanding the business comes when we play games in our school. So imagine, most of you would have played Monopoly, right? That's the the game that everybody plays, right? So I used to play Monopoly, Scotland Yard, Life. All of them are sort of similar. I mean, Scotland Yard is a different game, but Life and Monopoly. The first aspect that you get absorbed when you play Monopoly or Life is essentially earning, expenses, and the amount of money that is in your pocket, right? And I was playing with my kids, I think 2 months back. The first thing I realized is that they are getting to know those basic concepts, when to buy a city, when to basically rely and buy a house, and when to take or double down on your colored houses, right? I think that instills that sense of getting starting a business. And then in school days, though we were good in sports, we also used to play those games that, hey, let me be the shopkeeper, please come to me and buy few things from us, right? At least I used to play. I'm not sure about you, but when we were about 4 or 5 children, neighbors and all, what we used to do was that let one be one kind of a shopkeeper, the other be the other kind of a shopkeeper, and the others are basically people who will come and ask for something in return of something, right? So I think the first thing that landed in my head was during those school days in terms of how you need to possibly start your business. I'm not talking about the technical terms, very, very layman, right? And that was fifth, sixth, seventh or so, right? So that's first, that basically the seeds when they are basically in gets in your head. Now let's move on to the second, which in my view that happened, I think, accidentally. So this is 2004, 2005 when I was doing my engineering, and I mean my wife, who was my girlfriend during my engineering and 11th and 12th. So I was in Himachal, she was in Maharashtra, Pune. She was doing her MBBS. I was in engineering, and at that point in time it was a long distance, but I didn't have money to basically fly or travel, right? So what should I do, right? I can't ask my parents that because they don't know about my girlfriend or my friend or to be wife, right? So then I thought that I need to do something just to earn that extra pocket money, right? And that was my first, um, I think, click. During that time, what happened was I mean, mobile phones came into the picture in about 2002 to 2004. and only in 2004, my memory is correct, is when those incoming calls were made free. Earlier, there used to be incoming calls paid, as well as outgoing calls that used to be paid, right? So what I did was I started selling SIM cards, right, and recharges essentially, right? And this is at that point in time when everything became free. So I did that for about a year or so, and everybody from my college started buying those recharges from me rather than going outside on the shop and buying, right? So they used to come onto my room or just give me a call that yaar ye recharge kara de, and that's how I think those smaller, that smaller aspect of starting something, right, starting your business, basically I experienced. It wasn't to start my business. My whole aim was to earn so that I can fly or take a train to Pune, stay there for maybe 2 to 3 days or so. So the objective was very different, but that led me to get into that entrepreneurial mindset or the mode, right? So that was the second. Then when I started doing my first job, so I started working at Sapient. This is about 2007, 2008. So we were very, very good at coding. Okay, so we were creating products for US giants or so, and as it may sound, I was into movies, right? I used to watch movies every Friday evening with Pepsi, Coke, all of that, right? And then I suddenly realized that why do we have to go and buy ticket at the counter? Because I don't know whether it's houseful or not. I want to get my preferred seats. So me and two of my friends during the Sapient days itself uh, started creating a platform, which is that you go, you select the movie, you select the movie hall, you select the seats, you pay, and boom, then you go and enjoy, right? We were 1 month into this platform. It was sort of conceptualization stage or into, and boom, Book My Show got launched. And then the first thing that sort of hit us, all three of us, was that, hey, there is already a platform. Now should we create another, or should we just start using it because we want to watch movies, right? And I think that led to, I mean, very, very important learning. Two very important learnings, right? I tried convincing them, but we couldn't move forward, right? And we basically debated it for about a month's time. But think about it, right? There were two learnings, and the idea didn't fly. There were two learnings. One, none of us had the maturity to even think that in any business there can be two to three players. If there is one player that has been launched, it doesn't mean that that player will only see the success. There can be other players as well. And in any market, generally there are two or three players that survive. Correct? None of us saw that maturity, right? And the second thing is, personally, I think I didn't have that courage to go solo. Nobody was stopping me to basically say that, okay, both of you don't want to do it, cut them off and go solo on this, right? And today at Unstop, I'm the solo founder. I don't have anybody else because I realize that it's a nice to have, but not a necessity to have a co-founder as such, right? So if you have an idea, you rather don't search for the co-founder, just go. And in any market, there will be multiple players. How you capture that market, how do you run your operations, will define whether you become the leader of that market or not. Simple, right? So that was basically school, college, my first job. Then the second thing happened was my MBA college, right? When I got into the MBA college, precisely, I was in my mind very, very clear that I may not want to take up a job, but I want to learn some best management practices. So in my first year, we used to get some competitions, case study competitions, and those used to be very very few at that point in time. But the information wasn't reaching us. It's more than a decade back, right, where the internet or the common platform were not there, right? So then I thought that why not let me create a job? So a pivotal moment during my MBA was me selecting to opt out of my summer placements. Okay, not take summer placements, but to opt out and try work on my idea for about 2 to 3 months. And trust me, at that point in time, I was not even looking at revenue. I was only looking at that can Dare to Compete, which was it was named Dare to Compete. Can it be just a blog? Can I solve a problem for others where I will keep on pushing information about multiple engagements that are happening in the B school market or the engineering market, so that the others benefit out of it, right? And that basically worked fabulously well, right? But because I didn't even think about the monetary aspect, because that was passion, that was not business, right? And when I opted out of my summers, I made a promise to my dad as well, because he let me opt out of my summers. You need that support system. Alone, you can't do anything, right? The family, the friends, or so. He told me that if you are not able to make at least a few lakhs, you won't opt out from your final placements. At least you get those final placements, right? So then I basically got in Deloitte Consulting. Uh, uh, Day one, I mean day zero, first company to visit on campus, strategy consulting job. Everybody clamors to be in strategy consulting, right? But somehow, possibly I was not made for them, right? And they were also not made for me. And I'll tell you the reason. So, during my Deloitte days, Deloitte generally used to recruit, and this is again more than a decade back, they used to recruit about a bit less than 100 B school grads from all B schools as consultants. And they used to give them H1B visas, which is to say that your projects will be US based or maybe other, and you need to have this visa so that we can fly you anywhere, right? I was the highest billed consultant in the first 8 to 9 months, right? I still find it very, very uh, not disturbing, but surprising that how can I be the largest billable, because I was not passionate about that job. That's why, right? And then the visa was there on my desk for months, days, and then one day manager came to me that Ankit, you need to apply for that visa. We need to send you to US because we need to have more billable hours or so, right? And then I said that possibly I'm not made for going out. And by that time, I already have traveled to US through Sapient, through scholarships in Australia or so. So I've experienced a bit, but my view was not to settle anywhere outside of India, right? And then they gave me another offer. They said that, okay, if you do not want to be a consultant or move out, we'll give you a sort of an EA profile with the MD's office, right? And at that point in time, I didn't know what EA profile is. It's an executive assistant, right? Which is sort of the right hand of the MD or the leadership as such. But I didn't give it heed, because at that point in time, when manager came to me, one day I was just sitting and I was just browsing through the news, and the news said that there is a huge hue and cry happening in nursery admissions in India. The parents have too many lines and all of that. So at by that time, I was trying to solve that problem. Okay, in terms of let's create a platform where anybody can go online, whether it's nursery, UG, PG, search for all the colleges, select the colleges that they would want to apply for, fill up just one form that houses all the unique information from all those colleges, pay, and boom, application goes everywhere, right sitting at your home, right? Just one form. So then I left Deloitte. I sort of started actually the first venture, which was Get Admissions, with business sense, everything phenomenally well, right? Up to tod hi denge. And then within a year, we realized that the premier colleges do not want to come on a common platform because of their premiumness, and the non-so premier colleges do want to come on a common platform, but students don't apply for non-premier colleges. So then how do we make money? And when we were talking to many of the colleges, I won't name them, but many chairmen, vice chancellors used to say that, Ankit, forget about applications. Give us one admit of a student and take 75,000 rupees. एक बंदे को admit कर 75,000 से 1 लाख रुपए ले जा, right? And that's a lot of money. I mean, imagine when you're in your 20s, that's a lot of money, right? But somehow me and my partner were not convinced enough morally for us. It wasn't right to basically push students into one set of colleges. We created an online platform so that it's clear to them. They select. We only provide information. We connect the dots, but both parties decide whether they are made for each other or not, right? And that's why sort of we moved out. And then I realized there then our market research wasn't that good. Okay. And then suddenly in 2017, when Reliance and Aditya Birla Group reached out to me, and this is the biggies of the B school market, reached out to me saying that your, and by the time the blog was running, because that was passion, right? They reached out to me that, hey, we want to do B school engagements, your blog is popular, we'll pay you money, can you work on our behalf and do those engagements? And that's where I thought that now that passion that I started in MBA, now there's a business and both of them are meeting. Now is the time to now move out and start Unstop. And that's why I think when I started Unstop, it was again a discovery-led model journey. However, the biggest learning and unlearning happened in last 12 months. Okay, today we are sitting in March. On February 6th, our episode on Shark Tank aired, where we got all the love from everywhere. We basically got the highest offer in the Shark Tank history, which eventually we declined. But that gave us a proof point. While we were running the businesses was profitable phenomenally, but we never looked at how our users are loving us, how our users are looking at us. We were basically looking at that we are a competition led platform, but our users were looking at us looking us as a career transformation platform, right? And then what we basically did after that, when I spoke to, and this is very very critical because then we went into a fundraising exercise. When I spoke to at least 15 to 20 VCs and other people who wanted to fund us, right? Every pitch, trust me, the pitch was perfect, right? But every pitch made me think through my business model in more depth because I was prepared with everything, right? In Shark Tank India as well, I'm not sure if you basically see that episode, you will only see that amazing numbers, everything fabulously well. But I know that there were certain points in that pitch as well where I learnt about my business more than those pitches because the questions that they ask you make you rethink on your business model. If there is a repeat business, why that repeat business should happen. So in every pitch I've learnt because in my sense I think you might be prepared with all the information. In the first pitch you may have 10 questions, you may only have answer for 7. You will learn for the next 3. In the next pitch, now you're prepared with 10 questions, there'll be another 3 questions which you're not prepared with. And slowly and steadily, in maybe your 7th or 8th or 10th pitch, you will be prepared with that. And that basically led us to ensure that for students as well, who are our users, can we give them multiple opportunities to explore their interest, hobbies, which industry, which company, which job profile is best suited for you. So it's a process of elimination because we have possibly 99 percentile percentage penetration in possibly this campus as well as all the B schools, but you don't have dearth of jobs, right? You will find those jobs for sure. But the idea is that which job you is best suited for you. Is that your dream job? Is that your dream company or the industry? I think that's a journey for which Unstop was made. And today when I stand here, we are at about 9 million plus users. We work with 20,000 plus colleges in India, and about 800 plus brands are on Unstop. We are the numero uno brand. But again, as I stand here, all my learnings in last 2 decades made me what I am today, and not just maybe few days as such. So maybe the topic I'll end with this, that what I learned in last 2 decades, you need to just go back, take about a day's time, think through your journey. Everybody has those learnings, and figure out where were those gaps. Can you plug those gaps moving forward? Thank you. That's it.